Hello and welcome to Lauren's Travels. This is my part 2 of my travel bucket list video. I am doing this in collaboration with Mark Allen and Kayla over at Hemphilly Ever After. They're awesome. They've got a podcast, a YouTube channel, everything. Go check them out. I will leave all of their information down in the description box. They're great people. Part 1 is also already up, so if you haven't watched that, I will link it here in one of these corners, and you can go watch that and see what cities in the United States I'd like to visit the most. But today we're talking about countries. I honestly want to go everywhere, so this is just like a scrape of the list that I have for places I want to see. I want to go and explore everywhere I can. For me, when I look at places that I want to visit, I like to focus on a few things. I feel like it's important to go and immerse yourself in other cultures besides your own and open up your worldview and learn. I'm also obsessed with trying different food, so food is also an important factor in deciding where I want to go, what I want to see, what I want to eat. I also really like different architecture, so going to places that are older or places that have different cultures tied to the architecture is really interesting to me. So you'll notice that in my list, a lot of these places have that as part of their atmosphere. And of course, another important factor for me in deciding where I want to go is the natural beauty of the country. The countries on my list have volcanoes, beaches, mountains, so much beautiful landscape that's already there and natural to the area. So let's jump into my list of top 5 countries in no particular order that I want to visit as soon as possible. And of course, I haven't visited any of these countries, so I don't have my own footage. I rely heavily on Toropia's videos, so I will link their channel down below and all the videos that I sourced for this video. Thank you to Toropia. I will definitely give you all the credit. Your videos are awesome and help people decide what they want to see when they go traveling. So last year I made a theme park travel bucket list video, and I mentioned Tokyo Disney Sea as being the number 1 on my list. So it's no surprise that Japan is where I want to go to the most. I really want to spend a lot of time in Japan because I don't just want to go to one city. I don't just want to see one specific thing. I want to see a lot. I blame currently Hannah's YouTube channel. She is one of my favorite YouTubers to watch, and I just love all the places she explores, and she goes on like nature hikes and shows things that are off the beaten path, which really opens my eyes to seeing other places in Japan. I also have a deep appreciation for June's Kitchen. I will also link that channel down below because his videos are just so pure. Obviously, Tokyo is a big reason why I want to go to Japan. Not only theme parks, but like just the general atmosphere and the hustle and bustle of the city, the big neon signs. As much as I can do in Tokyo, I want to do it. I also want to visit Kyoto and Nikko and Nara and see the deer that just roam around. I want to see the shrines, the museums, the temples, the onsens, so many things, and eat so many things. It's just like a ever-growing list of things I want to do in Japan. So Japan is definitely on my list of must-visit countries on my bucket list. Another country I really want to visit is Portugal. You may or may not know, but I am half Portuguese. My dad was born in Portugal, his parents were born in Portugal, so Portugal is high up there on my list as well for countries I need to go visit. Portugal is actually the oldest European country, so it has a lot of history there. I want to visit Lisbon for their architecture. They have vintage trams that you can use to travel around in. I also want to visit the world's oldest bookstore and just kind of see the sights. Aveiro is on the Atlantic coast, and they're kind of considered the Venice of Portugal. There's gondolas that you can use to get around, and the architecture there is beautiful as well. Porto is famous for port wine, so obviously that would be a place my husband and I have to go stop in. And Algarve is beautiful. They have amazing beaches and olive groves, so olives are one of my favorite things. Sign me up. If I can learn anything about my dad's side while I'm there and meet up with my dad while I'm there, that would be also an amazing addition to this trip. And it would be cool to learn more about his side of the family since I didn't really grow up with him. The next country on my list is Spain, right next door to Portugal. So maybe this would be another longer trip that I can kind of extend to both countries. I think one of the main reasons I want to visit Spain is for the food. I'm not gonna lie. I also really want to see the Gaudi buildings. Sorry if I am not pronouncing that correctly. He has an amazing style that is all his own, and those buildings are just a sight to see. I don't want to look at them in pictures or videos. I want to see it for myself in person. So that would be cool to kind of like take an architecture tour, if that's possible, and just kind of see all of the buildings there. Madrid, Barcelona, so many sites, so many cities, not enough time, but Spain is high up there on my list for bucket list countries to go to. I have 2 countries left to discuss, but I have to stop and say, if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please consider doing so. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers this year, and I've kind of been hovering around in this limbo of 600-ish. So if you guys can help me out, and please subscribe if you haven't already. And to those that do, subscribe to my channel and support me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I actually got a new logo done, and that is by an artist named Mario. I will link his information down below. I'm excited to have a logo and hopefully working on some new merchandise for the channel as well, so stay tuned on that. Now I'm gonna reveal my last 2 countries on my bucket list, starting with New Zealand. Obviously, Lord of the Rings plays a huge factor in this for me. I love those movies. I want to visit all the filming locations that I can, but I also want to see the country itself. Beautiful island with mountains, with volcanoes, with the beaches. There's so much to do and see in New Zealand. I think I will need a lot of time there as well. One of the things I really want to do is go in the natural hot springs that they have kind of all around the country. I also want to see Napier, which has a lot of Art Deco houses and wineries. Another important factor when deciding where I want to go is how good the wine is. And the last country on my list is one that is probably going to be the most accessible, and that is Canada. There's a lot of spots I want to see in Canada as well, and they're kind of all over the country. I want to see Niagara Falls from the Canada side, not so much the New York side. I want to see all the natural parks there, like Banff, which is out in Alberta. My friend Felicia and I might go out there one day. She's already been, but I'd love to go visit too. I want to go to Toronto, which is one of the most culturally diverse cities in the world. I want to experience Vancouver and go to the Stanley Park. I want to see as much as I can, and I feel like it's cool to just kind of go to these countries that you've never been before, and exploring is half the fun. So I try not to do too much research because I want to kind of explore more when I get there and kind of stumble upon things. If you have any recommendations for any of the countries I listed in this video, please leave them down in the comments. Don't forget to hop on over to Mark Allen and Kayla's channel to watch their bucket list of which countries they'd like to see the most. I had a lot of fun putting together these bucket list videos because traveling is always on my brain, and I always like to talk travel. So if you do too, please consider subscribing, and thank you so much for watching today. I'll see you next time on Lauren's Travels for my Detroit vlogs, which was my last travel destination that I got to check off from my first bucket list video. See you next time on Lauren's Travels.